Good Thursday morning, everybody. My name is Eli Robinson. I am the Chief Trivia Officer here at Water Cooler Trivia. Every week, we get together and provide a weekly trivia game for you all over the English-speaking world to share with your company, your organization, your group, your friends, whatever it may be. And then we come here onto Twitch and YouTube and talk about what happened in this week's game. You can find us online at watercoolertrivia.com. We have a 4-week free trial, so you can see what we're all about before subscribing at about $1 a user a month. And you can find me online at Chief Trivia Officer, Eli Robinson on LinkedIn, TikTok, wherever the kids are these days. I don't know if the kids are on LinkedIn, but maybe they are. Let's jump into this week's game on the banks of Lake Erie. So let's take a look at how people did back to one of those tried and true games that people really loved and nailed. Almost 40% of people got a perfect score, which is really cool because we had a meta game and a theme that people picked up on, which made us really, really happy. As of Thursday morning, we had almost 4,500 users. Average score, 8.22, a little bit higher than we would like, but that's okay. We'd like when people do well around here. And a median of 9, right? So 50% of people got a 9 or a 10, or over 50% of people got a 9 or a 10 this week, which is pretty awesome. We hope you enjoyed while you played. Let's jump into it. Question number 1. When I say the word atrium, your mind likely envisions a large open-air room in a building. But if I then mention that the atria are connected to the ventricles, what organ comes to mind? That would be the heart. Someone wrote in and said, what organ comes to mind? Technically, I could write anything because he or she would be in charge of what comes to mind, which I really enjoyed the snark there. Number 2, for the Italian and for My Lady, and featured heavily in a Beatles song with children at her feet. What is the one-word name often given to Jesus' mother, Mary? That would be Madonna. Lady Madonna, children at her feet. That's the reference from the Beatles there. Number 3, perhaps a special treat for Barbie and Marilyn Monroe. What is the name for the variety of dessert bar that resembles a brownie but substitutes vanilla in for cocoa? That would be a blondie. Perhaps you were starting to catch this week's theme. Number 4, mammals and birds experience a unique phase of sleep characterized by random quick motion in the eyes, accompanied by low muscle tone throughout the body and the propensity of the sleeper to dream vividly. What's the common 3-letter abbreviation for this phrase? That would be REM, stands for rapid eye movement, 96%, very impressive. We must have a lot of nappers in the game. They're usually shown only above the shoulders and they won't shut up. That's the explanation for what 2-word term for cable news pundits. That would be talking heads. Talking head, 72% correct. A little bit more difficult, and we had a lot of people use some slurs, like a-hole, etc., to talk about cable news pundits, which I can appreciate some days. Starting with the letter N, what is the concept in Buddhism that adherents are striving for by quenching the activities of the worldly mind and its related suffering and being released from the cycle of rebirth? That would be nirvana. Nirvana, 87% correct. A little nervous of acting about Eastern religion stuff, but clearly the group knew what was up. As seen in an 1852 issue of Michigan Farmer, that magazine that everybody subscribes to, water, Epsom salts, sugar, tartaric acid, milk, an egg, and something of tartar are the impossibly gross ingredients in the earliest known recipe for what soda flavor? That would be cream soda. Cream soda, 75% correct. And make sure to renew your subscription to Michigan Farmer. Number 8, they play home games a couple miles south of Pat's and Gino's. Pat's and Gino's, of course, the 2 probably most famous cheesesteak restaurants in the world across the street from each other. Fill in the blank of their NFL fight song, Fly Blank Fly on the Road to Victory. Fly on the road to victory. Fight, fight, fight. Yes, the Philadelphia Eagles, I believe, are currently 7-0. That is not why we included them in this week's trivia game. But 81% correct, and hopefully the people found the sports question a little bit accessible. Question number 9, what's the 4-letter type of adapter that's used with electrical devices that require power but do not contain internal components to derive the required voltage and power from the mains power? That would be AC-DC, an AC-DC adapter, an AC adapter, 70% correct there. So question number 10, this is where we actually got into what the theme of the trivia was on November 5th, coming up in a couple days. What institution will be formally welcoming its newest members, thus joining the previous 9 answers, as well as the other 342 inductees already enshrined on the banks of Lake Erie? So when I write it down this way, Heart, Madonna, Blondie, REM, or REM, Talking Heads, Nirvana, Cream, Eagles, and AC/DC, you probably can see that all of these are members of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Here are the 7 performers getting inducted this weekend. Pat Benatar, Duran Duran, Eminem, didn't know he was a rock guy, but good for him. The Eurythmics, Dolly Parton, Lionel Richie, and Carly Simon. 76% correct. We love that. That means 3 out of 4 of y'all picked up on the game and hopefully really enjoyed it. We got some emails this week that people did have a good time. Here's the question-by-question performance. Madonna was probably a little bit lower than we would have expected, but everything else kind of right in line with expectations. I will say, normally we don't talk about the tiebreaker on these videos, but I really was struck by it this week. So the tiebreaker this week was take the zip code of the building that houses the answer to number 10, which is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, multiply it by the number of founding members of the band Steely Dan. What does that equal? So the zip code of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland is 44114. The 2 founding members of Steely Dan were Donald Fagen and Walter Becker. I believe Mr. Becker has passed away, but I think Mr. Fagen's still with us, which leads 88 to 88228. The median guess across everyone who played the game this week, like 50% of the answers were above 88228 and 50% of the answers were below 88228, which is simply fascinating, and I absolutely loved it. So kudos to y'all and the wisdom of crowds for getting that one right. Here's the performance once again. Congratulations to the almost 40% of y'all who got a perfect score. Once again, my name is Eli Robinson. Thank you for coming with us to the banks of Lake Erie for this week's water cooler trivia game. You can check us out at watercoolertrivia.com. Try a 4-week free trial, and we will see you back next week for the midterms. Until then, keep on tripping on.